The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Yemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, you're a Gentile grafted in to the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. This morning, if you didn't know, for those that may be in various parts of the world, today is day 15 in the government shutdown. And this is actually significant because they want you to think that the government shutdown is kind of gone and went, and we're now off to new business. Don't worry about the government shutdown. It's new business. And they look at that because, number one, it's not politically helpful. And they want to ensure that the politics is obviously something that is still palpable. However, in today's situation, you're now dealing with an event that will be And that is not really that will be. That is the undercurrent of what's happening in today's world. Today's the day where people get paid in the United States government. First and the 15th. Today's the 15th. Sorry, I'm trying to look through some things here. Because I like to show you just some of the articles that I look at. So most time willing it doesn't mess up anything. I'm sorry, my laptop literally messed up after coming back from Ghana. So that's why I said, please keep me up in prayer because yeah. This is from The Hill. Can Trump pay for troops without Congress? Some Democrats don't think so. President Trump directed Secretary of Defense on Saturday to pay service members by utilizing previously appropriated funds during the ongoing government shutdown, seeking to sidestep gridlock in Congress. The move also takes some pressure off of House Speaker Mike Johnson, who was facing demands to call the White House back. And let me tell you, this is all political nonsense. You actually have to have Congress that authorizes the payments. You can use Treasury, but technically you really can't because the congressional the purse strings go from Congress. It's allocated monies and budgets. And Trump announced the move on Truth Social after Johnson had teased executive action just days before the October 15th deadline when service members were set to start missing paychecks. We have identified funds to do this, and Secretary Hegseth will use them to pay our troops. A defense official said Saturday that the department identified approximately $8 billion of unobligated research, development, testing, and evaluation funds from the prior fiscal year that will be used to issue mid-month paychecks. Again, paying those he wants to pay. And I want to show this one. Usually I can get a better pay link. Oh, come on. I hate how they do that. Sorry, gotta move things around here. So this is from the Times of San Diego, from an Amelia Benavides Colon. Trump claims very wealthy person offered to cover military paychecks during government shutdown. That was October 14th, yesterday. President Trump on Tuesday claimed that a very wealthy donor had offered to pay members of the military during ongoing government shutdown, a generous office that he said he turned down for now. The reality is, did he really turn it down? Understand, this was the same man that did not turn down the new Air Force One that was purchased by Qatar, and now Qatar has a base in Idaho that now can technically, literally, excuse me, smuggle out different things without it being on anybody's radar or purview, because if anything, it's just, it's military. It's for military operations. Oh, come on. I actually have a man who is very wealthy, who is a very wealthy person, who said, if there is any money necessary, shortfall for the paying of the troops, I will pay it. Meaning he will pay it. Trump said during a meeting with Argentine President Javier Milei. How are you going to give a bailout to another country while your government is shut down? I'm just saying, it makes no sense. But it's getting real because it makes no sense. It's supposed to not make any sense. It's supposed to cause the frustration that people are now seeing, because what this is in my opinion, an absolute psyop of the most magnificent, largest order to get people in a state of so much frustration. They're begging them, they're pleading with them. Take up arms, take up arms, take up arms. And that is literally what you hear in the background from them. Take up arms, take up arms. See, understand, we know the dog whistle. They understand the dog whistle, and that's why they've been pleading with us to succumb to the dog whistle, which we are not. And that creates a problem for them because we don't. We're not doing what they want us to do. Matter of fact, we're doing the opposite. And they're asking, how come you're not doing what we're asking you to do? You're supposed to hear what we're saying. You're supposed to do what we're saying. Isn't that right? You're supposed to be the victuals. Oh, no, they're not going to get paid. But what they're trying to show is, here's the reality. Here is the reality. They'll have somebody come through and save the day, because this is the playbook. Come through, save the day. And that person that then saves the day, do you understand what they're actually showing you? They're showing you how the military and how this nation works. It was never for the people. I mean, it sounded good, right? It got people hyped up to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and it got people hyped up to fight, you know, over 20 plus years of wars. It got people hyped up to say that I'm a real American, but they didn't understand that America was literally founded via corporations. How do you think people were transporting all of these quote unquote future Americans over to the free world, is what they would call it? Free for them, not for us or anyone of African American descent. And I say African American because I still believe that when they try to now re up the term of Black Americans, it's a psyop. Why are they trying to say African Americans? To keep you away from your true wealth. See, once you identify with the land, you actually identify with the wealth on the land. And guess what? You know that becomes a problem, not just for America, but for the rest of the world. Like I had stated, this is a holding pen. It was always a holding pen. It was a multi generational prison. And now the prison is now falling apart. And what happens when the prison guards don't get paid? What happens when that projection of force of the illusion doesn't happen? Well, guess what? The prison becomes more chaotic. And it will become more chaotic because the prison wasn't designed to last that long. It was just designed for a little over 400 years, which is now the warranty's up. Satellites are leaking the world's secrets, calls, texts, and military and corporate data. From October 13th from Wired.com. With just $800 in basic equipment, researchers found a stunning variety of data, including thousands of T-Mobile users' calls and texts, and even U.S. military communications sent by satellites unencrypted. Yeah, that happens. Satellites beam data down to the earth all around us all the time. Now you're starting to understand how your data is being used. I'm really surprised that, to be quite honest, that this article was able to use this. Researchers have pointed to the surveillance dangers of unencrypted satellite connections before, but the scale and scope of the new disclosure appears unrivaled. They just beamed up a satellite and got information. Now, speaking of satellites, I wanted to kind of preempt that because, speaking of satellites, do you all understand what's happening in this time? because I like to now. I want to give you articles to source it straight from the horse's mouth. Donald Trump plans to send Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine as NATO braces for World War III. I don't know where this is written. U.S. President Donald Trump was set to meet with Ukrainian leaders. Well, this person obviously, this Michael D. Carroll, is obviously from Miami, a Cuban voter. I will vote for Donald Trump. Sorry, family. Please forgive my ignorance this morning. This was as of yesterday from the express.com. Donald Trump revealed an international or reveled in international praise after brokering peace in the Middle East during a successful visit to Israel on Monday. Global leaders rally behind. Yeah, I don't really care about all that. The U.S. president is scheduled to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House this Friday. This news comes as Russia's economy teeters. That's what they always say. How many times has Russia's economy teetered? Whatever. No, our economy is actually teetering, but again, this is always projection. Well, I know our economy's teetering. We don't even have real food. That's why you can tell. Everything is a filler. Everything is fake. Why are people getting so sick? Because it's not real food. When I was in Ghana and Burkina Faso, I didn't know, my body didn't know what to do. This is real food. Oh my goodness. The reality is that America can't afford to purchase real food. Have you noticed? While they're trying to do the Trumps or the tariffs and everything else to try to dissuade and discourage people from buying the food. So then that could cause prices to come down here in the United States so people can actually eat real food. I see the byproduct of that all the time in the classroom. We literally have mental health conditions because the food. We literally have people. The amount of bow-leggedness, the amount of osteo issues. Because when you don't have the right nutrients in your body, your bones will literally curve, and that's noticeable in your femurs. That's noticeable. In your base legs, your ankles. Ankles are curving. Legs are curving. These osteodegenerative conditions are literally being shown. The saddest thing is I'm looking at a majority of kids and they can't even walk straight. It's horrible. But I digress. However, insiders have told the Telegraph that the American leader is preparing to supply Ukraine with long range Tomahawk missiles in a bold move intended to force an end to the brutal war with Russia. It was all a setup. I'm telling you, that whole fake, oh, we got the hostage, we got this. It was all a setup. To me, I think the whole ordeal in the, you know, Middle East, in that that Mediterranean nation, I think that was all a setup, to be honest. I believe it was used to do this, to buy the time, to take away and to deflect. We got another shiny object. Oh, and by the way, we got Syria. Oh, and by the way, we're striking on Iran. Oh, and by the way, have you noticed that every 6 months something is going on, something is happening? Because to me, it's all staged. That's just my opinion. It's all staged. Now this curated agenda of stagecraft is now running its course, because who is it staged for? It's not staged for them. They don't care. If you've noticed, they know that they don't care. They're going to be the new victuals. They're going to be the new captives, because they've already been led down into the captivity of their vanity. See, when you start to understand how a person's vanity is, then now you can exploit that person's weakness. Oh, yeah, you all have this, you all have that. Look, Russia and China done left the United States decades ago. And it's technology. The problem is people thought that Russia and China really didn't have the technology that they now have. And now they have that technology. This is a bad move. We already know that all their moves are bad, but this is an even worse move. Why is this bad and why is this even worse? Let me continue this article. The two leaders will discuss their visions for deploying the long range Tomahawk missile to pressure Vladimir Putin into negotiations, according to Mr. Zelensky, reports the Express. The main topics will be air defense and our long range capabilities to maintain pressure on Russia, the Ukrainian leader stated. Mr. Putin has hinted at the possibility of sending Tomahawks to Kiev if Putin continues to obstruct any chance of peace talks. Now, that is actually what's getting ready and getting set to happen here in the next couple of hours. We're not talking days, we're talking hours. The president has recently increased intelligence sharing with Ukrainian forces to enhance their long-range attacks on Russian energy infrastructure, intensifying the pressure on Russia's struggling economy. See, now you have to understand it's not just Russia's economy. These are economies that are supported by the oil from Russia. Understand this is a geopolitical game to where people were trying to, and this is what nations do, they try to straddle both sides of the fence. Well, I'm going to be good here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do. No, now the world is making a decision. The world is making a decision. And they have no choice but to they can't play the hopscotch game anymore. They're now being locked into a side. And you could see that last week when people were purchasing RMB, the Chinese renminbi, instead of the US dollar. You see that happening when Trump is trying to call out China for not buying soybeans. Well, they stopped buying soybeans a while ago. It's just that now the people complaining are now the farmers, and the farmers are complaining a lot louder than they had been, so they have to throw them dog whistles, dog treats. Atta boy, good boy. Sit down. Here's a dog treat. Here's a belly rub. Good boy. Thank you, Mr. Donald Trump. Ooh, Scooby Stacks. Scooby Doo. And you know what? The reality is that appeases them. That appeases them to be pet. That appeases them to get the belly rub. Oh, he really cares. He said something. He said something great. You know what they're being treated like? You know who they're being, you know what that sounds like? You know who they're being treated like? Oh, they're not going to like it if they're a Gentile of Caucasian persuasion in this live stream. You know what it sounds like? They're being treated like. Come on. I know you all can see it. I know you all are going to be able to tell me in the chat. What does it sound like to, you know, get the belly rubs and the attaboys and say that all? Well, you're almost on the right track, Lions Pride. You're almost on the right track. But who does that sound like in the contemporary spaces for people that had come off the fields and the plantations? Who does it sound like? They sound like black people. Trump has given them the same treatment that has worked on black folks for decades. I'm glad you're speaking to our issues, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Oh, I know action's coming. I know that even though it's dark and but joy comes in the morning. Yes, Philip Turn. Yes. He said Donald J. Trump's on says we's gonna get some money. And what happened? Well, due to the government shutdown, well, we're trying to help you all out. But we got to help out Argentina over here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, Mr. Donald J. Trump. I know you're doing your best to get Congress. And yes, Mr. Donald Trump. Oh boy. I know that hurt a lot of their pride in here. Did that hurt? Did that hurt just a little bit for all my Gentiles out there? Did that hurt just a little bit? Do you all see the curses reversing in real time? In real time. And white people used to just shake their heads at us like, all right, like they're going to believe that. And we would be sitting there like, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my pastor said it's all good. My pastor said that by the time anything happens to me, we're going to be on Rapture Watch number 15. My job said that I'm emergency essential and I should be getting paid at least half back pay, at least at the very half. That's what he thinks. He doesn't really know, but I believes him. Why would Trump lie to us? Why? What? White man don't lie. Say it on so, Mr. Trump, Mr. Donald J. Trump. I voted for you. You're supposed to do that to them and not to us. I feel so betrayed. Who wants to join me in this purple revolution? I'm taking all applicants. Come on, follow me. We're going to go to the White House and we're going to demand. What are y'all's demands again? Oh, we want reparations. We're going to demand that white people get paid. Sorry, we're going to do the reparations after we get paid. You know how that is. How can I help you if I'm sitting here starving? Ignore the pain, trust the plan. But Mr. Trump, how y'all getting all this money for these other countries? How you all getting all these money to sell weapons? I told you, this place never cared about us. So if it never cared about us, do you really think it actually cared about their people? We have been saying this. I've been saying this on my channel, The Construct of America. I know it was brutal. I know that I got a lot of hate and flack of showing that type of deconstruction. Hey, that's what happens. When you've worked in the government for years, you see things. It's just that once you take that step out and you take that step back, you can start to define what it is that was in front of your eyes. Because what the prey and what the play is It's to prey on of the ignorance. It's to get you emotionally involved in that ignorance. And now these folks have become so emotionally involved they can't even see their way out. And they're asking us to help them see their way out, and we're just saying no. No. And you want to know what that does? That shocks them. It's getting real because they're saying, well, you all need a paycheck too. You all need to pay your bills too. You know, look, we're just saying, you know what? If it gets to that point, it gets to that point. And now we're saying it with such a boldness and such a declaration. Look, I know who I am. I'm a child of Yah. I'm covered under the blood of Yahusha HaMashiach. I know who the real power is. I know who the real strength. And guess what? Your fake principality is really dying. Your fake God, your fake Elohim is really being exposed. We have been telling you this for years, but you didn't want to listen. You wanted to say that we're crazy. You wanted to say that we hated everybody. You wanted to label all this and all that. You all did. But it seems to me that the only person that's destroying your construct in front of your own eyes does not look like me or any other person of African descent or ancestry or lineage or bloodline or any other phenotypical structures. Sorry, you can't place that blame on us. You can't. You have to wear it. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Her Excellency, Dr. Ericana Shiraboy Qual. He was on Make Africa Great channel. And she had called on out folks and laid her position and made it clear. Again, me personally speaking, there are some things that I would have done different, and that's just because everybody approaches a situation differently. But she called out the people that needed to be called out. And you have to remember the biggest thing that this captivity wants from us is to be able to come after each other. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't do. Hey, listen, I get it. You want to know how many times people came after me with Q2A? Well, you. I get it. But I told you we're on a different path. We're on a different trajectory. Look, all we have to do literally is just give the Most High praise. The enemy just wants us to listen to them and to falter ourselves. Have you noticed that? Remember, a couple of months ago, everything is, sunshine and roses, and, you just got to keep positive, positive, positive. Positive, 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 positive. Just stay positive. Keep a, smile. They would, break out Mary Poppins and you have to have that positivity. And now all of a sudden, now that they see things happening with them and not necessarily with us, Now it's well, don't you see how bad everything is? Don't you? We got to do something about how bad this is. So bad and bad, 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 bad. I don't know what you're talking about. From my perspective, when has it never been bad for us? When have we never had to climb and fight through issues as a people? All the time, all the time. Y'all missing one paycheck? How about missing instead of 15 days? How about going 15 months? How about that? Feel how that feels to go through all the collections. Feel how that feels to go through all the repossessions. Feel how that feels to go through all the foreclosures. Well, that's happened with us. Feel how that feels when your credit is absolutely destroyed. Okay. Well, we're going to have to do a new credit system. Why? Because the credit for white folks has been completely obliterated. Watch, that's coming. That's why they're having social credit. And I told you they're going to be coming after our channels. They've already said that. They've already revealed that. You know, us talking the way that we talk when we say Yahuwah, when we say the Elohim of Israel, you know, that's actually anti Christian. That's the core of being anti Christian. They're coming after us. Told you all, it's just a matter of time. So for everybody going through that spiritual funk, we're all going through it. That is the enemy trying to wear us down so then we can speak against the blessings that the Most High literally has on the horizon. But it's in his timing. And let me tell you, if you don't receive that, that's for me. That's for me. This morning I had to check my attitude. I said, "No, Father," I said, "forgive me. I can't go in front of you people with my attitude." I said, "Because then I'll be judged. I'll be judged, Father. Far be it from me to discourage anybody. I can't do it. We have to continue to encourage our community, one another. I'm going to be posting in my community channel I'll reach on out to Sister Shar of how she is wanting to address this. But it's going to be this Sunday. This Sunday. October 19th between 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She will be doing the Supreme Court third quarter review analysis. Review and analysis. I'll reach on out so she can give me a link so I can have you all getting over there to sign up. This will be a legal review and analysis of major governmental changes, consolidation of executive power, and global governmental implications. Sister Shonda has graciously agreed to open the event with remarks about current events and a prayer for our community. Please join us because you know I'll be there October 19th, this Sunday. One p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll make sure to post that link from Sister Char on the community channel, and I'll be making sure to get that information to you all when it becomes available. Because when it gets real, as a family, that's when we need to come together. We don't have time for the petty differences. We don't have time for the issues that some people may have. Look, we just have to forgive one another, apologize for any inconvenience or anything that we do, because when we do things, we generally do things with a heart and a compassion to do things, to make it work. We may not know how to make it work. People act like we have in our community the expertise of socio, diplomatic, geopolitical, all those other stuff. Now we don't. Because you want to know why? Because they know that the moment that you try to say, you know what, black people need to be empowered, the moment they usher you out the door. Oh, we thought that we could trust you. We thought you were a good one. You're trying to now talk about empowering uh black folks. Well, well, it was all cool. We could deal with the reparation talk because you're never getting it. But all this other stuff of resource control, resource management, well, that's a bridge too far. You were my one black friend, and I hate to see you go. But boy, oh boy, yeah, that's man, that's wow, wow, that's heavy. Gee, that's that's a bit much. Why can't you people just ever be satisfied? Just be happy that we grabbed you from Africa that had all the land of gold, silver, every mineral that you can have, all the resources. I mean, it practically feeds the whole world. Now that all of our soil has been contaminated. Man, you people just are never happy. I'm getting black fatigue. Yeah, anybody ever? You don't feel that too? Yeah, it's kind of like a cold. Is it like a black fatigue flu? Is that the new pandemic? Oh, I kid you not. But that is what we do to ourselves as a people. We're very, very highly critical. And you know what though? Here's the reality. It's not that we've been we have been conditioned to be that way. Matter of fact, we're overly critical of ourselves. We're overly critical of ourselves. Today I was critical of myself and said, Father, man, I really need to make that meeting in New York. What do I do? Do I ask people? Do I say this? Do I say the meeting is in mid-November? Mid-November. I'm meeting with the chief surgeon, the head doctor. He's basically in charge and control of Bogadogo University Hospital. That's the same hospital that the medical supplies went to. That's the same hospital where we are planning on doing more interactions, especially within Q2A, to support different ventures, different programs. That's what I'm doing this week, to do some work that happens in the background. A lot of the work, it has to be done in the background. I can't tell you all the work. You want to know how many people would be like, well, oh, I see what he's doing, and then try to derail the process? Dang. They swooped on Dr. Eric Hanna for the citizenship. At least you get permanent residency. That's nothing to sneeze at. What they're trying to say is you do permanent residency and then you have a job or you have a house. Do you know what that means? I.e., you're bringing money. That's the only discriminant factor that's there. How are you going to be? How are you going to contribute to society? I'm sorry. For me, as I stated on this channel, kudos to the government of Burkina Faso. Yeah, thank you, Brother Garth. I saw that video. Absolutely. Thank you. If you want to put that in the chat for them, Brother Garth. Yeah, people downplaying and demonizing, but yet they live on the continent. You want to know why? Look, agency is real. You don't get boosted up in algorithms. Agency is real. Now, if I change my platform tomorrow, have my little setup with the Confederate flag and be like, yeah. NASCAR, America. I was a reformed Hebrew, but I don't see any benefit from it because I didn't get paid, and now I'm here to get paid. I'm the most ultra conservative, ultra conservativeness ever. I hate my brown skin. I hate my brown gums. I shave every part of my body just so I don't see any black hairs. Yeah, you talk all the self hate that you want, you're going to get paid. And that's terrible. But let me tell you, that money's not going to last very long. Thank you, Betty Felder, for the gift. Let me tell you, the day of accountability is now here, and they're mad and they're scared. Now, again, if the troops do get paid by a private third-party entity, guess what? You know it's over. You want to know what that means? Oh, well, the U.S. works for America. It works for the taxpayer dollars. And what happens when they ain't paid by the taxpayers? You ain't have an army. You now have a standing mercenary corps. And you know the good thing about what we saw with Dr. Arikana, I don't think people want to highlight the positives on this. So when people try to say, oh, he's just a dictator, he's just a fascist over there for Ibrahim Traore, no, he's not. What that showed was that he does not and is not able to unilaterally make those decisions. He has a parliament. Uh-oh. But that goes against the norms and narrative. See, they want to just say, oh, they're not offering citizenship. No, what they needed to say was, hey, there is a political body that also provides necessary balance in Burkina Faso. That's the definition of government. And governance. To be able to listen to your advisors, to the people that are represented. Not to take advantage of them, but to actually govern in righteousness. You see that? That's what's missing here in the United States. They forgot how to govern in righteousness. Matter of fact, I don't know if they've ever been able to truly govern in righteousness, but that's a story for another day. All right. Well, family, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your blessings, for your prayers. It truly is amazing to see how the Most High is moving in this time. I know that folks are going through a stretch. I get it, but your support is truly, truly instrumental, especially these periods of travel. They do take a toll. They do. So I definitely appreciate your support on that one. And again, as soon as I get the information from Sister Char's event on October 19th, then I will relay that to you all here in the community. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.